I'm back, and today we are looking at not a record store. I know, right? Crazy. But as much as I do love going to record stores here in Tokyo, and I love going to record stores here in Tokyo, that's not all I do. I mean, I have a job and there's other stuff and, a life, but also I like going to other places like Hard Off. Yes, I know the name is funny, but Hard Off sells used electronics and hardware, hence the name Hard Off. Look at this. They have a VHS DVD projector. What the hell? Old video games, old consoles, tons of old equipment like these VCRs and DVD players here. So I hopped on the train to Churinkan outside of Tokyo, and I made my way down to this giant Hard Off and Off House. Off House sells like furniture and clothes. Not really my thing, but they're in the same building. Hopping inside to take a look, the first thing we see is video games. Tons of Game Boy games, all kinds of old games like that. Look! People said you couldn't be done, but there are Xbox games in Japan. A lot of Xbox games. Somebody in Japan bought NBA Live. Good for them. But yeah, this is where you find the Xbox games. Couldn't find them. No, they're here. Old stuff too, though. You got your Genesis or Mega Drive in good condition there for about 11,000 yen. Nice old fight sticks. You can find stuff like that here. Hey, you want a fishing game for the N64? Yo, they got it. There's a place for that. And then a lot of other weird old PC games. I like checking these out because you don't think about PC games in Japan that much. But hey, Japanese copy of Dungeon Master. Yeah, sure. And then other weird stuff like old Wise games. And then some stuff for like the X6800, 68000. These Japanese only PCs. Pretty crazy rare stuff. An old copy of Space Harrier. That was pretty pricey too. Like almost $50-$60. Yeah. And then a Japanese copy of the Daedalus Encounter of Tia Carrera. Let's move on. Sharp PC version of Life Force, all-time gem, all-time killer. Sharp PC version of Pac-Mania. Not so much an all-time killer, but hey, never seen that before. Small vinyl selection here. Really didn't have much I was interested in. It's a lot of classical, a lot of jazz, a lot of mainstays like the Beatles, some 80s metal. There was, I think, Accept. A lot of stuff like that here sometimes. But I thought what I'd take a look at over here were the music laserdiscs. These can be kind of fun because you never know what you'll find in here. They have another laserdisc section someplace else. So there's Pink Floyd, The Wall. There's this dude and his rad headband. Like I was saying, they do have like non-music laserdiscs. That's in a separate section. I avoided that today because I didn't want to buy any laserdiscs and take them home to put on my wall because laserdiscs are heavy. But some cool stuff here, and I know there's some Cassiopeia. A lot of my followers on Twitter really like that band. They're not really my thing, a little too jazzy for me, but if you're looking for Cassiopeia, here's the place for it. I don't know if these ever got like a proper DVD or VHS release, so they might actually be a little rare. Not rare, a giant Lost in Space Laserdisc box set. This is only like a third of the season. It weighs 8 pounds. Let's get away from that. Let's listen to music. Let's check out some classic and jazz? Jazz? That's a typo. I've lived here a long time. Never seen that one before. Oh well. A lot of, cheap CDs here, nothing crazy rare, but sometimes you can stumble upon some cool stuff. And then at the back, they usually have your anime and game and soundtracks. That's usually what I dig through when I'm here. I didn't pick up anything today, though. Here's a blast from the past. Metallica's Live Shit, Binge and Purge on VHS and CD. About $45. Huh. Haven't seen that since high school. This stuff's fun, but I wanted to really show off the old electronics. Here's the junk section. Stuff here doesn't work, or it almost works. That's the thing. You really have to read Japanese to really know what's wrong with this stuff. Sometimes it almost works. It just needs a new belt or new cathode. Who knows? But yeah, old mini disc players, old VCRs, old what? Old. I'm scared. Is that from a Blumhouse movie? Let's walk away. But yeah, here's a bunch of old receivers. They are all broken. If you got the time and the money and the know-how, you can buy one dirt cheap, fix it up, and make it your own. So much of this stuff is here for you to browse. It's like a museum. I love it. Look at all these old VCRs. Look at all these old VCRs. Look at all these old VCRs. I'll keep talking higher and higher. Projectors. It's crazy. All this technology that's gone, the sewing machines, and a lot of it is like stuff we never got in other countries. And of course, fax machines because Japan, and giant old telephones. Again, not as heavy as the Lost in Space box set, but you could hurt someone with those. Old charging things for old batteries. What else? Memory. You need some old memory? It's a buck a block. Go nuts. What else we got here? PC parts, old sound cards, PC fans. If you need that, build your own retro PC. Got retro parts for it. Up here, more cables, and then want some DVD RAM? I know I do. Yeah, why? It's here. It's all the mountains of the stuff. Old tapes. I think those are high-pack tapes, not 8 tracks or cassette tapes. Look them up. That's for some karaoke home system. I don't know much about it. Old PCs, again, all junk that you can buy and maybe fix or use for parts. And then rows upon rows upon rows of monitors and other old PC parts that you can fix up. Then the same with games, old game controllers, old games that are too scratched to sell, old calculators. I bet that product calculator is not an actual product. Here's a bucket printer. It says Canon selfie, but it's a bucket and it's a Canon. I'm gonna put it back. I'll put this back now. Old 45s, old CDs. Most of these are scratched or like not worth anything. This is all Enka. Enka is like Japanese folk music. It's what your grandparents listen to in Japan. It's all dirt cheap. I think everyone, when their grandparents die, they take their tapes to hard off. Kind of sad. And then up here you have a nice little cute bear. Look at this great thing, a video cassette rack. If I had enough video cassettes for a video cassette rack, I would have bought that video cassette rack. Moving on to this little cube. Nice cube. It's made of wood. It's a cube made of wood. It's a Woody cube. No boner jokes in the hard off. I repeat, no boner jokes in the hard off. What say you, Magic Music Rabbit? He says, go ask my friend the duck telephone. Amazing. Duck plus telephone? It is amazing. Also amazing are old reel-to-reel players that almost never work, always weigh 8 million pounds, and are always dirt cheap. They're every hard off. Here's a really weird thing. This is some kind of S-video, like, dual tape player. It doesn't work properly, but it kind of works. That's why it costs so much, and it plays SVHS. So if you can't get it to work, it's a pretty good VCR. This looks like something that was done for production, and maybe in a TV studio or something, and it has a nice monitor that I bet's really good. Here are some junked turntables. Oh, I wish this worked. This is a linear tracking Pioneer. I've always wanted one. Maybe someday. Maybe no day, though. The one next to it. This is a nightmare. This is like a retro version of a Crosley. Let's burn that. Demon watches that don't work, but they look neat. And then the mini disc in the junk section, kind of pricey at 3,300 yen. I don't know why it was down there. Strange. Also in the junk section, some old cameras. I can't imagine any of these work. These were super beat up. Who's buying these now? I mean, especially the old digitals. Look at that thing. It's a monster. Cool monster, though, is this dope freaking beta camcorder. Man, nice styles. Next to that's a Sony one. I think at beta 2, it's Sony, so it's almost assuredly beta, not VHS. But yeah, a lot of good fun to have in the junk section. It's good to look at. But it's not all junk. Here are like working things. So a lot of DVD and Blu-ray players and a ton of VCRs in absolute pristine, near mint condition. Buy it, take it home, and pop in your tapes. A lot of these have DVD players built in too, which is why some of them are so expensive. Some of those DVD players even have DTS and Dolby support, like that one down there. That's 19,000 yen. That's almost $200. So if you're looking for a good VCR, this is great. I actually bought one of these once with a DVD because the DVD was a recorder. So I could dub a tape onto a DVD, then rip the DVD to my hard drive. Speaking of hard drives, hey, guess what? They sell a lot of hard drives. They also sell iPod docks that look like Legos because do you need a reason? It's fun. Here are some tapes. These are bad tapes. 20 minutes. There's no don't buy a 20-minute tape. Even worse, 10-minute tape. No, they had real tapes here and like real metal tapes, which they don't make anymore, and that's why the 5,500 yen. All kinds of cool old tapes there, and some even DATs. That's crazy stuff to find here. And then oh yeah, that's a hand massager. I just thought it was funny. Also, musical instruments. Again, not my area. I don't know anything about any of this. So here's a quick pan. Some keyboards, some guitars. I like the yellow one with the hearts on it. On the other side of the hall here, we had some more instruments that I thought were fun, including vibraphone, xylophone, phone. You hit the dun 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 dun. Yeah, foot pedals and a full bell chorus for 6,600 yen. drums. And then let's finish up with another quick look at the video games. This is some more of the newer stuff and higher end stuff you might find here. As you can see, some good sticks, those mini systems that came out a few years ago. And then occasionally the older thing will pop up that's a little rare or hard to find. Old Game Boys and a Master System converter, which I think that's the first one of those I've ever seen in this country. Pretty rare. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this part, but we're not done yet. We got more hard offing to do. Within walking distance of this hard off, there was an entirely different one. So I went down the street, grabbed some McDonald's. I know, not that healthy, but what are you going to do? And made it to this other giant hard off that had a hard off house, and a hobby off inside. As I said before, the off house is for things like clothes and furniture, and hobby offs are like toy stores. They have stuff for kids and collectibles. I don't focus too much on that here because I don't want to be a dude walking around a toy store with a bunch of kids holding a camera. Not a good look. But let's go on side in here and see what they got. Get away from the furniture and clothes, and you find a Duo R for 39,000 yen. Wow, and a shuttle PC. That's an interesting combination. Some typical Nintendo stuff. Nothing too crazy down here. At the very bottom, though, there was some weird stuff. Some mini systems, again, you can see down there. And over to my right is what looks like a portable Mahjong machine for 19,000 yen. Jesus. Someone loves Mahjong. A lot of games here. Nothing really up my alley, though, so I didn't spend too much time browsing that. Mostly newer stuff. PlayStation, PS3, Xbox a bit. Tons of CDs and movies. Again, I didn't also go through this too much because it was just a lot, and I didn't want to spend all day here. But I usually go near the end, like last time I looked for the soundtracks, because sometimes I can find some good stuff down there. Found this weird Transformers thing. Never heard of this one. Nah, not so much for me. This was great, though. Pepsi More Music. Freeze frame. What is this? Aaliyah, Frankie J, Dead or Alive, Placebo. I should have bought that. Good vinyl selection this time around. A lot more diverse and just expansive than the last store. You had your mainstream stuff like the Beatles, but some more obscure and odd things. I didn't spend too much time here either, though, because I didn't want to lug a lot of vinyl back with me. I thought I would head down to the junk section instead and look at these great projectors. Sir, and you want a car stereo? How about a mini disc car stereo? I bet you've never seen I had one of those before. And then some more mini disc players. You always find mini disc players here. I don't know what happened. It must have been a great purge at some point. Good old receivers, and then some nice old tape decks too. Good selection of junk here for the junk connoisseur. And some very strange junk too. Want a police light and a signal generator for 16,500 yen. Even weirder, this metal thing, they don't even know what it is, but you can buy it for 5,500 yen. Nice little projector here. And then this massive thing here. This is a field strength meter for measuring the electric field strength emanating from a transmitter. I don't know why you'd want that. Want some mousse to clean your resin, or resin cleaning mousse? I have no idea how old this is. I bet you can get high as a kite off of it, though. And what's around the corner here? Oh no, it's the mini disc player graveyard. Oh my god. These are so many broken dreams of mini disc players. It's almost kind of depressing. Ooh, a pink one. So many mini disc players. I want to buy all of them. Let's go look at old tech I don't want, like broken karaoke machines and other assorted artifacts from the mid-'80s. Crazy stuff over here. You know, you look at all these dead record players and dead tape decks, and you wonder, does anybody buy these? Do they just sit here forever? But right after I walked away from these tape decks, somebody came and bought 4 of them. I have no idea why. They did not buy this awesome letter opener, though. I mean, it looks great to me. It's a warrior's treasure. Why not buy it? Some other treasures more up my alley. Some good old or new styluses, styli. Those are pretty nice ones. Some expensive ones, too. Another reel-to-reel. And guess what? It's also broken. Moving on to the bins. Lots of old tapes here. And these things, which I think are high-pack tapes. I couldn't get the damn thing out of the freaking sleeve all the way. But I think it's a high-pack. Again, I might have mentioned those earlier. Those are like Japanese 8-tracks. They're weird. Also weird. Over in the next bin here, there is a game for a system I've never heard of called the Super Note Club. I have no idea. Moving away from junk into things that work, like some karaoke machines. According to my boyfriend, who's Japanese, these are more popular in the suburbs because it's harder to go to a karaoke club. They also had a working reel-to-reel player. Wow, how much is this? I'm not going to buy that. Let's go look at these turntables that I also won't buy. I love those Denon turntables. I want to get one someday. Oh, another reel-to-reel? So heavy, I literally couldn't move it. And then rows upon rows of other old cool stuff, some nice turntables, some nice receivers, so many turntables at this one. I was really impressed with how many interesting ones they had that were really expensive. And then down over here, more hi-fi components, some DATs. Insert your own dat-ass joke here. A lot of DATs here. I was kind of surprised how many they had. And I think down here some more traditional tape decks, and then we're going to get into CD players, mini discs. I liked this one here with this very strange specification. 8 times oversampling digital filter. I have no idea what that means. I'm sure it's really, really, really impressive. Again, so many DAT machines here. I don't know how and why that happened. Some cool looking old tape decks. Lots of great stuff. And then I went over to the hobby off part for a minute. There wasn't anybody around, and I saw this amazing Michael J. Fox calendar from 1995. Oh man, I almost bought this, but I thought it would be creepy to have in my apartment. Someone comes over and they're like, "Hey, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. It's just a picture of Michael J. Fox and Whoopi Goldberg from 1995. As you do. Here are all the pictures from it. Emboldened by my Michael J. Fox calendar, I decided to go to one more hard off, and this one was not close, but I needed to burn off that McDonald's, so I took the hour-plus walk to one more hard off up closer to Yokohama, and I'm really glad that I decided to make the trip because I think that this hard off and off house might have been the best one I went to. It had so much interesting stuff in it. Lots of good toys here in the hobby off section and not too many people. A nice lamp. Tempting. Anyway, a lot of Star Wars stuff. Obviously Star Wars is big everywhere. Nothing that crazy rare, but, neat. And then around the corner over here, they had the nicest stuff behind glass. I love that face hugger, tiny little face hugger there. Almost grabbed that. Sorry for the little camera jump. Then moving on to the games. So many games here. I really don't know what I'm looking at other than these old video games for, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, PC Engine, stuff like that. I don't know what's like crazy rare and what's relatively common, so I'm sorry. Freeze frame it and then leave a comment and tell me how I passed up an amazing deal. I'm sorry, but I wanted to show off over here the guns. Okay, these aren't actually guns. These are airsoft guns, which are really popular here. They look super real. I don't think they have the orange tip law that we have in the States and other places. And you can find these everywhere. Some game systems, expensive, but I think fairly priced, like these Mega Drives for $13,000, and some looser ones at varying prices. One interesting one was this Pokemon Nintendo 64 at 22,000 yen. Touch the foot, turn on the power. Surprised how much those are going for these days. And they also had, your typical selections of kind of more basic systems, not the crazy ones, and mountains and mountains and mountains of Famicoms, because that was so popular here, of course. And I always look to see the price difference between the Famicoms and the later models, which are much better. Here is a Bimani controller that you could use to murder someone with. I didn't pick it up. Speaking of things you could use to kill someone with, hey, you want 24 discs of Bewitched on DVD? There you go. Moving on to the PC games. Some cool stuff here. I didn't know there was Lego Racers and Japanese versions of Dark Forces released here. And a ton of The Sims. I guess that makes sense. The Sims are popular, everywhere. Gears of War, a little more surprising. Sure. And then Spore also. Maybe there was a Maxis fan unloading his stuff. Who knows? Behind the glass, it isn't always rare. Sometimes it's just kind of strange or out of place or it won't fit on the shelves. But there was some rare things in here, some interesting games. And then over in the corner, a portable PC Engine, 220,000 yen. Holy shit. And then over here, some other weird portable stuff. I thought was cool. Kind of a Tiger Electronics type games. You don't see those a lot here. And then other, I think WonderSwan stuff. Here is a Mega CD, junk Mega CD in the box, 16,000 yen. I assume it kind of partially works and maybe you can fix it up, but it's mind-blowing. So if you want some mind-blowing and if you're a serious gamer, then I think you should come and get this broken Mega Drive CD player for 16,500 yen. Or you can buy some vinyl or tapes, more Inca, okay, whatever. Interesting 45s, a lot of soundtrack ones. I like these, but if I spend too much time here, I'll leave with a very heavy backpack and a very sore back, so I'll just put those back. Weird one up here. Here's the Michael Jackson Ghost VHS and CD box. So it has a VHS tape, the Blood on the Dance Floor album, and a remix CD that's exclusive to that. Never seen that before. Good vinyl selection here, but what's that? Howard the Duck? Well, I bought that. I'm not joking. See, I have Howard the Duck now on vinyl, CD, and cassette. Don't ask. Didn't buy Teen Wolf, though. I always have to look at the turntables. I'm sorry if it's redundant. I could just wash myself in turntables, although that might hurt. But there were some interesting ones here. Another reel-to-reel. This one was junk, again. They usually are. But down below these kind of moderately priced turntables and receivers, there was this absolute monster below. The Yamaha GT2000. 132,000 yen. That's over $1,000. Apparently, that is an excellent turntable. The tagline for it in Japan when it came out in the 80s was gigantic and tremendous. I should use that for myself. Then over into CDs and other audio, some more interesting stuff, including another super pricey one. This Pioneer there, that's a pretty high-end CD player for disc changer. Still 82,000 yen, almost $1,000. Crazy. And here's a vintage receiver that is honestly just a little bit terrifying. But there were some more like reasonable, newer pieces of audio hardware you could use. Nice little cute CD player. I like the pink. It looks kind of like a half egg. I don't know what's going on there. Nice triangles. And this little, kind of generic one, but I'm sure it works great. And a lot of stuff like that. These tape decks are actually probably pretty good. They're not going to have all the Dolby settings, but they're going to be better than a new one. So if you're looking for a discount tape deck, find something on these. They're going to be a lot better than the crap you find on Amazon today. And one more weird CD player. Look at this one. It has 2 trays. Why? Maybe I don't think you couldn't rip them. So it's just for nonstop music. Weird. But let's go back to junk. Look at all the UMDs. And this awesome little carrying case with Super Famicom. I would have bought this, but it was ragged to hell and kind of gross. Also kind of gross, this boombox, unfortunately, kind of destroyed. Too bad. These are weird little CD players. I don't know why they were 8,000, almost 9,000 yen because they're broken. Strange. Huh. They kind of work. That's why. I guess they're fixable. But yeah, and then again, another reel-to-reel, another broken one. Some cheap CDs. I almost never, you know what? I've never bought a cheap CD in these bins. They're always garbage, and I think I never will. I have never found, ooh, tattoo. Okay, I bought that. From junk music to more junk. Some cool looking old projectors. Never seen those before. And then this kind of interesting, but absolutely ragged old turntable. I like the design. The orange is neat. Kind of a cool little getup with the knobs. But it was in rough shape, and I bet even when it worked, it was probably not the world's best turntable. Kind of like this cute little briefcase model. I bet I had one like that when I was a kid, but it's garbage. You don't want that then. You don't want it now. More interesting junk. This cool little mini system here. I love the hi-fi, and it has a linear tracking turntable. 15,000 yen still, because parts of it still worked. And then on the other side, some more junk. An old, what looks like a portable TV and radio. An old receiver that's older than me. And then this crazy old VCR, top loaders. I love top loaders. Oh man, it was cool, but I thought I would get tetanus just from touching the damn thing. In much nicer shape was this vintage, what looks like a rack-mounted Studio Betamax player. Awesome, man. I want that too. And speaking of rack-mounted, here's what looks like an old rack-mounted terminal. I think probably for a server rack. Strange design though. Some more interesting stuff near the exit. An old tape player, like a portable one. Not a Walkman, though. It's not a Sony. And an old MP3 player. You're starting to see those more and more. And one of the very first mini-disc Walkmans, which is pretty cool. But there was some cool stuff by the exit that I couldn't take film of, but I got photos. What you're looking at here is an HLD XO Pioneer high-definition Laserdisc player for 330,000 yen. That's over $3,000. I've been going to hard offs since I moved here about 7 years ago. I have never seen a high vision, high definition Laserdisc player. They are obscenely rare. But that is absolutely nothing compared to this, a Technics RS 1800 reel-to-reel tape player. That price is not a typo. It is 2.2 million yen. That is over $20,000. My last car didn't cost that much. I assume this is a very good reel-to-reel player. I'm never going to find out because I sure as hell ain't going to play it. But wow, that is the most expensive thing I have ever seen at a hard off. Crazy. I hope you liked this video. I plan on going to more hard offs in the future and documenting what I can find because as you see from this video, you'll never know what'll show up. But that's it for this one. Click those like and subscribe buttons and don't forget that you can follow me on Twitter at Lost Turntable. Take care.